Hey guys, this is going to be a quick introduction video to using sheets for data analysis for our Catapult launches. So at the top, you would have done some testing in order to determine what the best launch angle was. There's not really any data analysis for us to do. We're going to focus here on the bottom part of your spreadsheet. This is where you have 20 to 25 data points that were collected by launching marshmallows outside of the room where the tape measure was, so you could get accurate data results. So as you see here, I've already documented my data results. For me, I did this in terms of feet. You may have calculated in terms of inches. It really doesn't matter as long as you stayed consistent. All right, so the first question down here that we need to address is the best launch angle. And this is something you would have determined at the top. Your answers are either medium high, medium low, or low launch angles. So whatever your data showed, you just want to type in what the angle that you use. So let's say that medium was my result. Like I said before, there's no correct answer here. Just type in the one that you ultimately determined was best for your catapult. All right, so next we want to get down into calculating total launch distance. Total indicates the necessity for an addition component here, but I want you to use the power of Excel, or in this case Sheets, which they're kind of nice complements with each other. And there's a couple ways to do this. So what we're going to use is the sum function, and you call the sum function by using equal SUM. And then after that, you'll have a bracket where you indicate what cells you want to include in that sum or in that addition. So for example, let's practice calculating the total of this column. So your first 5 launches. So what you want to do is click the box underneath it. You want to call the sum function by saying equal sum, and then you can hit enter, and you'll see brackets come into play. What you want to do then is highlight the boxes that you want to add together, and you'll see that they come up in a different color. So this is cell C11 through C15 are these cells here. And you can hit enter, and you'll see that a total comes up. You want to do the same thing in the next column, equal sum, highlight the ones you want to add together, hit enter, and you obtain a number. And you want to repeat that for every column in which you have data. I only have 20 data points. If you have 25, you'd have this column over here filled in, and you'd want to repeat it again. So one more time, equal sum, highlight the numbers that I want, and hit enter. All right, so now I have totals for each column. And what I need to do is I need to add those numbers together. Excel or Sheets can do this too. So you want to go down into your total launch distance, this empty box here. We can use the sum function in a little bit of a different way now. So we can call it equal sum, enter. And what we can do is we can click this specific cell, and then we can use the plus sign and add it to another cell by clicking the next cell, and you'll see that a new number shows up here. We can then do the plus sign again and then select another cell to add. And for me, I'll just do it one more time. For those of you that have this extra column, you'd want to do it 5 times total. But for me, I have my 4 numbers, and I can select enter, and then all of these numbers are added together. All right, that's pretty simple. All right, so that allows you to total things. So when you think sum, you want to think add. All right, so the other thing we want to do is calculate the average launch distance. So this would be what is the average of the distance whenever you launch a marshmallow, and if we were to make a guess about how far does your catapult launch, this is the number that we were thinking of. So there's 2 ways that we can do this. The average is calculated by taking the total and dividing by the number of data points you collected. And since we already have the total, one way we could do this is just that. We don't need to sum here because we're not adding. We're just doing a math problem. We're taking 502 and dividing it by 20 because I collected 20 data points. So you could actually just do equals, and you don't even have to type 502. You can just click this cell right here and then do /20, and then you get the answer of an average of 25.1 feet. Well, that's pretty convenient. But we can make this even easier. Another function that you can use is the average function. And that will not only total all of the things that you highlight, but it will also count them so that it can take the total divided by how many there are. So to call the average functions, you do equal and then type the word average, A-V-E-R-A-G-E, and then you can hit enter. Now, we want to take the average of all of our data points. So what I want to do is I want to click the first one, this first data, hold shift, and then highlight this first column. The next thing that you want to do is if you're on a Mac, use command, or if you're on a PC, use control. So I'm holding command, and then I am clicking 23, or this number here, holding shift. I let go of command at this point, and then clicking down to the bottom of that. So you can now see that both of these columns are highlighted. So if I wanted to highlight the next column, which I should, I hold command, click the top number, I hold shift and click the bottom number. Now I can see that I have 3 columns highlighted. Now I want to highlight this fourth one as well, so I hold command, click the top number, hold shift, click the bottom number, and then I have all of my data points highlighted. Once again, if you have data over here, you want to make sure that you include that as well. You see these series. You have these numbers, these numbers, these numbers, and these numbers, so different sets of numbers. If you have all of your data highlighted, you can click enter, and you'll see that we get the same number that we did before, but we didn't have to do any sort of multiplication. Both of those methods are completely accurate. You see that we have the exact same value, 25.1, and either of those would be acceptable for you to do. The benefit to using average is if you did not know how many data points you had, it would automatically calculate that for you. But since we knew we had a certain number, it was not as difficult for us to just count them. But either one gets you to the correct answer. So when I'm checking your sheets, the big thing here is not really the numbers, it's the formulas. I want to make sure that you understand how you can use Excel or Sheets in order to analyze your data. So in each of the cells that I am highlighting, I will be looking for a function whenever I click on them. So if I look up here, if I click on that cell, I should see, a sum value, or I should see, in this last case, potentially an average or an equal to math problem. But in each of these cells that I have highlighted, I will be checking to make sure a formula is there. As much as I know that you can calculate these on your own, I want you to get in the habit of, if you can use Excel to automate these for you, you might as well do that, because let's say that you do this again or your data changes. Let's say I change this 23 to a 29. All of my data automatically changes because it's formula based. If you were to go through the math and add things together, you only know the answer for your particular situation. If something changes, you have to go back and do all of that math again. But if you're using formulas, you can have it automatically calculate any changes, and that's a great benefit, so that you don't have to do things over and over and over again. We're taking advantage of some of the neat formulas that are found within Sheets and Excel.